of absorption, distribution, biotransformation means nothing but metabolism, excretion, and sometimes these toxic chemicals can go into the storage tissue and they will accumulate in the body. So you have storage also. So these parameters will come for toxicokinetics. Then you have toxicodynamics, in which the biological would be start showing. So you can have early biological effect. So in that case the जो भी तुम्हारा target site है, target organ है, tissue है, so you may have altered structure of it, or the function of that organ would be disturbed, and eventually may lead to a certain kind of disease. So the study of these effects will come under toxicodynamics. So the toxicodynamics is how a substance gets into the body and what happens to it inside the body. So you will have four processes: absorption, distribution, biotransformation, and excretion. And toxicodynamics will refer to the effects. The effects can be a molecular effect, biochemical alteration, or physiological effects of the toxicants or their metabolites in a biological system. So these effects are results of the interaction of biologically effective dose of the ultimate form of the toxicant with a molecular target. Means what? So when the chemical will show its effect, we have seen that pictorial representation during pharmacokinetics. It is when your drug will interact with the cell receptors, तभी that drug can show its actions. Either वो metabolite होगा या वो drug उसके active form में होगा तो कुछ chemical reaction होगा and we will see the effects. In a similar way, in case of toxicants, so the effects either through molecular हो, biochemical हो या physiological हो. Those effects will be seen only after the interaction of the toxicant, और उसका भी dose उस पे matter करता है. The dose which is biologically effective. So that interaction of that dose with a particular molecular target. So what is exactly molecular target if we see? So this is your toxicant जो उसके active form में है, जो उसका effect दिखा सकता है. So this toxicant will interact with this target molecule. So that interaction, so that reaction can be a non-covalent, covalent, or either electron transfer or enzymatic reaction. So by one of these reactions, this toxicant will interact with the molecular target. Once it has interacted, what can happen? Either that molecular target का function would be disturbed, or that molecular target would be completely disrupted. You can have destruction अगर toxicant बहुत ज़्यादा effect दिखाता है, or you may have neo antigen formation, that is something new which is formed from that. So this is how the toxicant can interact with the molecular target and show its effect. So the entire process of toxicological. So this also is related to, we have seen the entire process of your pharmacology. So the entire process of toxicology can be defined in these three barriers. The first is toxicokinetics, in which your body will get exposed to the chemical. That chemical will be absorbed, distributed, metabolized inside a body, then storage or excretion. So during this toxicokinetics, what can happen during this absorption? उसके बाद जब distribution और metabolism होगा, so in at this stage, what can happen? Your chemical is interacting with the molecule, and after its interaction, you may have the altered molecular target completely. और ये जो reaction है, this can be a reversible reaction and irreversible reaction, depends on the interaction of the toxicant. So once this distribution and metabolism is done, once this molecular target has been affected, then the comes toxicodynamics. So what can happen during that? So you may have the response. Response can be either molecular level or can be at cellular level, can be at organelle level, and complete body response. So this particular ये जो pathology है, so the effect of this, whatever your body is responding to the chemical, that depends on intensity of this reaction. So sometimes the effect can be only at the molecular level, and sometimes that effect can be enlarged to the complete organism response. So this is how the entire process of toxicology is explained. So as I said कि ये वाला जो सेंटर वाला phase है during distribution metabolism, this reaction can be reversible and irreversible, as I said. So if it is reversible reaction, your toxicant will interact with the molecular target, and you have altered molecular target. So this can be a reversible reaction. So वो केस में क्या होगा, जो इफेक्ट है वो acute इफेक्ट होगा, वो chronic नहीं होगा. मॉलिक्यूलर टारगेट ऑल्टर हो रहा है, वापस नॉर्मल फेज में भी जा रहा है. सो ये जो टॉक्सिसिटी होगी वो एक्यूट टॉक्सिसिटी होगी. जो इरिवर्सिबल रिएक्शन है जहां पे you have the altered molecular target form, so this can be a chronic and a permanent toxicity. So sometimes this toxicity can also be transferred to the generations, so that depends on कौन सा toxicant interact कर रहा है. और ये जो है which is irreversible with repair, मतलब what is happening, your toxicant is interacting with the molecular target, your molecular target is getting altered, वो alter हो रहा है, ठीक है, वो वापस normal नहीं बनेगा, but your molecular target has its own capacity to repair itself. वो repair करके वापस कोशिश करेगा normal होने की. So this is called as irreversible with repair. So this can be a sub-acute or a sub-chronic toxicity. I hope you are understanding the difference between these three. Reversible, which is acute toxicity, sometimes normal side effect जिसको हम लोग ignore भी कर सकते हैं. This is irreversible, which is almost permanent damage. You have a chronic toxicity, long lasting. This is irreversible with repair. This is also, or this can be a chronic toxicity if your molecule is getting time to repair to come back to its normal state. So ये वाला जो third वाला जो example है, there we are going to perform in practical, जहाँ पे we are going to study hepatotoxicity. So the toxicants can be used like paracetamol or CCL4. So ये सब क्या है, paracetamol drug है, but beyond a certain dose of a paracetamol, it leads to a hepatotoxicity. लेकिन वो जो hepatotoxicity है वो permanent नहीं है. Your liver has a tendency to heal on itself, but it takes some time. So we are going to study that time period and the natural recovery of that liver once it is exposed to a particular dose of paracetamol. So this is called as irreversible with repair. So your toxicity of the substance, it depends on a dose, but what happens is the dose से ज़्यादा जो concentration of उसका है at the site of action, that determines the toxicity. Means what? This also I had explained in a first lecture कि dose जिसको body expose हुई है, that dose would be converted to a definite concentration at the site of action. कितना concentration है उसके ऊपर response depend करेगा. So the concentration at the toxicant at the site of action is very important. वो concentration किस पे depend करेगा? That is उसका absorption पे, उसके distribution पे और उसके metabolism पे. So the concentration of the chemical at the site of action is proportional to dose. अगर dose ज़्यादा होगा तो obviously concentration ज़्यादा ही release होगा. Dose कम होगा तो वो भी कम होगा. But अगर same dose में multiple chemicals का try करती हूँ, so हर एक chemical का concentration at the site of action would be different. Why? Because each and every chemical, दो उनका dose तो similar था, but फिर भी सबका concentration अलग-अलग क्यों है? Because those chemicals का toxicokinetics is different. उनका absorption capacity, distribution capacity, metabolism capacity is different. So that is why you have different concentrations in a particular target organ of toxicity depends on disposition of the chemical. It is how that chemical is getting absorbed and distributed. So this is very important, and that is why it is important to study ADME of a toxicant, because only body is getting exposed to the toxicant or effect dikha. That is not enough to study entire pattern of that chemical. So for studying its toxicity, intensity, and to design a toxicological study, we need to know the ADME pattern of the toxicant. So disposition of this chemical, it depends on the ADME. So what are the biological factors which determine toxicity? So one, the very first thing what
मैम
happens is, hello.
मैम ये मुझे है इसके पिछले वाले स्लाइड में डोज और कंसंट्रेशन में इफेक्ट अलग अलग दिखेगा ना, मतलब कंसंट्रेशन पे ज्यादा डिपेंडेंट है ऐसे बोला है ना,
हाँ हाँ,
तो डिफरेंस क्या है दोनों में, लाइक डोज और
दैट्स
कंसंट्रेशन
व्हाट,
एक ही
सी
होता
सी,
ना?
हाँ नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैंने कल भी बताया था, डोज इज डिफरेंट, कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इज डिफरेंट। टेक एन
क्योंकि वो
एग्जांपल,
सम्स करते वक्त हम लोग ने वैसे ही
सी
लिया था ना कि
सी,
कितना
टेक
दिया है कंसंट्रेशन।
so that much dose ना, हम लोग ने 1000 मिलीग्राम डोज वाज गिवन, फिर हम लोग
हाँ
कर्व से
वही तो,
यूज टू फाइंड आउट द
कंसंट्रेशन क्या है?
कंसंट्रेशन। लिसन, कंसंट्रेशन यूज टू फाइंड आउट फ्रॉम अ कर्व कि कितना कंसंट्रेशन प्लाज्मा में अवेलेबल है, वो थोड़ी 1000 का 1000 अवेलेबल था। जो तुमने प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व
ओके,
किए हैं उसमें
हाँ
1000 mg was dose given through IV, बट देन हम लोग ग्राफ प्लॉट कर रहे थे ना टू फाइंड आउट द कितना कंसंट्रेशन अवेलेबल है। दैट एंटायर कैन नॉट बी अवेलेबल इन द बॉडी, अगर वो IV रूट है तभी वो हम लोग को मिलता है 100%। सो वी से कि पूरा अवेलेबल है।
ओके, सो प्लाज्मा
ठीक
में
है,
कंसंट्रेशन यहाँ पे रेफर कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, that is concentration which is available at the site of action. अगर if the toxicant which जहाँ पे body is getting exposed, if that toxicant is lipophilic, अगर वो lipophilic है तो वो ज़्यादा उसका absorption होगा, तो उसका availability ज़्यादा होगा in that case. If your toxicant is hydrophilic, तो उसको absorption उतना readily नहीं होगा because your entire cell membrane is lipophilic head है उसका। सो वो केस में उसका अब्जॉर्प्शन इतना ज्यादा नहीं होगा, सो जो अवेलेबल कॉन्सेंट्रेशन होगा वो बहुत कम होगा, बाकी का डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होके एक्सक्रीट हो जाएगा, वो शायद टारगेट ऑर्गन पे अवेलेबल भी नहीं होगा। सो द
अच्छा,
कॉन्सेंट्रेशन व्हिच इज देयर एट द साइट ऑफ एक्शन इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द डोज व्हिच इज गिवन।
ओके ओके।
So what are your biological factors? So very first thing what is happening is you are getting exposed to the chemical. Once we are getting exposed to the chemical, the next thing what will happen is the absorption of that chemical. Once that chemical is absorbed, अभी absorption होगी, जब उसको distribute होना है तो उसके पास दो option है, either that chemical can bind to the protein or it will not bind to the protein. उसका जो प्रोटीन बाइंडिंग है वो डिपेंड करता है बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स पे, उसका पोलैरिटी के ऊपर, उसके चार्ज के ऊपर, एंड कौन से प्लाज्मा प्रोटीन्स अवेलेबल है। सो इफ इट इज that is your chemical can either be in a free form or can either be in a bound form। दोनों फॉर्म में उसको नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या करना है, उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होना है, उसको ट्रांसलोकेट होना है पूरे बॉडी में। तो अभी इन केस ऑफ टॉक्सिकेंट, now in case of drug what we have, उसका distribution will be plasma and जहाँ पे उसका target site है, जहाँ पे उसको effect दिखाना है वहाँ पे होता है। In case of chemical again you have three options, either that toxicant will go to the storage site directly, it will stay there, or that toxicant will go to the bio transformation site जहाँ पे उसका metabolism होगा, उसका कुछ तो conversion होगा। That conversion can lead to a severe adverse effect or a minimum adverse effect or whatever it is. So it will either go to the biotransformation site, and the third option is it will go to the toxic site, the toxic organ, जहाँ पे जाके it will directly show its toxicity. सो जैसे एग्जाम्पल इन केस ऑफ पैरासिटामोल, जब भी पैरासिटामोल एक सर्टेन डोज के बियॉन्ड जाता है, सो वो डायरेक्टली अफेक्ट करता है लीवर को। सो लीवर उसके लिए टॉक्सिक साइट है, सो वहां पे डायरेक्टली वो लीवर पे इट शो इट्स टॉक्सिसिटी, लीवर लोब्स गेट corrupted and you have elevated level of liver enzymes. So that is a toxicity caused by paracetamol when given to a very high dose. So that is toxic side in that case. दूसरा example, suppose when we take certain pain killers, ठीक है, वो पेन किलर्स के पे पास दो ऑप्शन होते हैं. पेन किलर का काम क्या है? देयर आर सर्टेन केमिकल्स which are called as prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are the chemicals which are released when you have some kind of inflammation in a body. That chemical gives you a realization of pain. जब हम लोग पेन किलर लेते हैं, those पेन किलर act on those prostaglandins, वो उनका सिक्रीशन कम करते हैं and we realize there is no pain, but वो साइड का इन्फ्लेमेशन कम नहीं करते हैं, they just suppress the prostaglandins. So पेन किलर्स क्या करते हैं? During when they are suppressing those prostaglandins, जो उनका पेन किलर का काम कर रहे हैं, in that case they can either go to the biotransformation site or storage site, and that is why you must have heard majority of painkiller leads to the kidney dysfunction. तो वहाँ पे जाके स्टोर होते हैं. So that is a storage site, and eventually जब भी when we consume more and more painkiller और time comes, वो storage site पे they start showing its toxicity. So that is why in case of toxicant absorption and distribution के time पे you may either have metabolism or you may have a storage or you may have toxicity. अगर वो immediate toxicity दे रहा है तो उसको हम लोग acute toxicity बोलेंगे कि जैसे ही टॉक्सिकेंट अंदर गया toxicity दिखा दिया, and क्योंकि हम लोग को दिखा we treated it and we solved it. So that is an acute toxicity. अगर वो storage site पे जा रहा है तो हम लोग को समझेगा ही नहीं, and you may lead to a chronic toxicity जो हम लोग को बहुत बाद में समझेगा, either समझेगा भी नहीं and next generation को भी समझ सकता है. So that depends on where your chemical is translocating. That depends on its pathway, that depends on its chemical structure, उसका physical form and your body structure. There are multiple factors which decides whether that chemical has to go towards which side. So storage side पे वो रहेगा if it is going to the metabolism side जहाँ पे उसका metabolism convert होगा and will be excreted with the help of eliminatory organ, and toxicity दिखाएगा. After showing toxicity, it would be excreted. So these are the different biological factors which determines the intensity of toxicity. So we will first see the absorption. So the factors which are involved in absorption of a chemical. So you may have physico-chemical properties of your chemical. So physico-chemical properties में क्या क्या आएगा? If your chemical hydrophobic है या hydrophilic है, वो ionized है, non-ionized है, acidic nature है, basic nature है, what is the molecular weight, whether it is volatile or non-volatile, solid है, liquid है. So these are different physico-chemical properties which decides its absorption. Second affect करता है route of exposure. किस route से your chemical is entering in the body, वो मैटर करेगा उसके absorption में. तीसरा है which pathway your chemical is selecting to pass the cell membrane. Either it is getting diffused or it is undergoing passive transport or it is undergoing active transport. कौन सा pathway use कर रहा है for getting through the cell membrane, उसके ऊपर depend करता है उसका absorption. So these are the factors which are involved in absorption of a chemical. So this particular flow chart जो कल के presentation में भी था, which will give you an idea what are the different ways through which the chemical can get absorbed into the body. So you may have ingestion, inhalation, intravenous, intraperitoneal, subcutaneous, intramuscular and dermal. So these are the different routes through which your chemical can get absorbed in the body. अगर वो ingestion से absorb हो रहा है, वो directly जाएगा gastrointestinal tract में, वहाँ पे उसका distribution होगा, फिर it will be eliminated. if your toxicant is getting into body through the route of inhalation, तो सबसे पहले वो जाएगा lungs में. Lung से it can either go to GIT and eliminate it, or through lungs it can enter into systemic circulation. Once it has entered into systemic circulation, so it can go to the liver for its biotransformation, or it can go to the kidney for its elimination. So that depends on the nature of the chemical. Liver के अंदर you have the metabolism and biotransformation form. अगर biotransformation होगा, so through liver fluid, which is bile is a fluid in the liver, उसके through वापस वो GIT में आएगा and वो eliminate होगा. अगर IV रूट से एंटर हुआ है तो वो डायरेक्टली जाएगा सिस्टमिक सर्कुलेशन में, वहां से लंग्स में, एंड थ्रू एयर इट विल बी एक्सपोज्ड आउट, अगर वो IV रूट से गया है तो. इंट्रापेरिटोनियल सब, इंट्रामस्कुलर एंड डर्मल, ये रूट्स भी डायरेक्टली जाते हैं सिस्टमिक सर्कुलेशन में. सिस्टमिक सर्कुलेशन में जाने के बाद there is one more option के your chemical is getting into extracellular fluid, जो सेल्स के बाहर फ्लूइड है, जिसके थ्रू इट कैन एंटर इनटू डिफरेंट इंडिविजुअल ऑर्गन्स. इंडिविजुअल ऑर्गन्स में जाने के बाद वो ऑर्गन्स में either the tissues of the organs पे it can go, or to the bones of organs. And the last option which we saw, which is a storage, जहाँ पे which are fats, जहाँ पे it can be stored, and that storage can be reversible and irreversible pattern. So this is how you can say a broad picture, that is different sites inside a body wherever the chemical can go and show its effect. So to list everything, so you have these routes of absorption. The routes of distribution, as I said, it can either get into a systemic circulation, or a portal circulation, or a lymphatic circulation, or in a fat, or extracellular fluid, or organs. So ये सब जगह पे वो जाके distribute हो सकता है. And the routes of excretion either through feces, or through urine, or through air, or the secretions of body like sweat. Sometimes mother's milk is also a secretion through which the toxicant can come out. So जो infant को toxicity दे सकते हैं. So these are the different ways in which the toxicants can be excreted from the body. So to understand a picture, that is how through cell membrane absorption take place. So this is a zoomed view of the structure of a lipid bilayer. You have hydrophilic head and you have hydrophobic tail. So your membrane is a phospholipid bilayer consisting of a polar head and a non-polar tail. So your hydrophobic compounds can diffuse across the membrane very easily, क्योंकि उनको अंदर पूरा hydrophobic portion है. And ये जो hydrophilic ऊपर head है, वहाँ पे भी we have a channels through which your hydrophobic compounds can diffuse through very easily. But जो hydrophilic compounds है, वो यहाँ पे ऊपर रहने की कोशिश करेंगे, उनको अंदर जाने को बहुत difficulty होती है. So they cannot diffuse through very easily unless and until you have carrier mediated transport or facilitated transport. So this is a view of a cell membrane. So what is your absorption? Is a process whereby your toxicants gain entrance into the body. So it can be either ingested or inhalated materials are still considered outside the body. क्योंकि ये क्यों ऐसा क्यों लिखा है वहां पे कि इंजेस्टेड एंड इनहेल्ड आउटसाइड द बॉडी, क्योंकि जब भी इंजेक्शन से अंदर जाता है जीआई से सीधा बाहर निकलता है. इट इज वेरी रेयर चांस कि वो पूरे बॉडी के अंदर घूमे वो केमिकल व्हेन वी आर टेकिंग थ्रू इंजेक्शन. इनहेलेशन के बाद भी लंग से सीधा जीआईटी से बाहर आता है. अगेन वी हैव अ रेयर चांस कि वो यहाँ पे जाए. So that is why it is written that ingestion and inhaled materials are still considered outside the body, because वो circulation में organs तक जाने के chances are almost nil. Important factors that affect of xenobiotic absorption. We have seen that the route of exposure or the concentration of the substance at the site of contact or the chemical and physical properties of the substance. So these are the factors which affects its absorption. So these are the primary routes of exposure: gastrointestinal, respiratory, skin. So environmental exposure of food and water contaminants. They generally enter through GIT tract. फिर जो air contaminants है or some of the pharmaceuticals such as nasal and oral aerosol, they enter through respiratory tract. Some contaminants like pharmaceutical products are applied directly on a skin, so they enter through skin. Injections primarily used for pharmaceutical. Generally को तो कोई इंजेक्ट करेगा नहीं. अगर वो pharmaceutical itself is a toxicant beyond a limit, तो it is a different story. Then you have implants. Pharmaceuticals may be implanted to permit slow or time release like hormones. Then you have conjunctival instillation, which is eye drops, and suppositories, which are used for medicines that may not be adequately absorbed after oral administration. So there are different ways through which your toxicants, your body can be exposed to the toxicants. So xenobiotics when pass through which are the different membranes जो टॉक्सिकन को क्रॉस करनी पड़ती है. So from environment अगर skin के through, so mucosa or skin membrane they have to pass. Then interstitial fluid, which is a fluid between the membranes or between the cells. फिर वहां से वो ब्लड प्लाज्मा में जाता है. अगेन आफ्टर क्रॉसिंग अ कैपिलरी मेम्ब्रेन वो इंटरस्टिशियल फ्लूइड्स में आएगा, which is the fluid between the cells. ये fluid between the membranes. फिर वो सेल मेम्ब्रेन के अंदर आएगा. फिर इंट्रा सेलुलर सेल्स के अंदर का फ्लूइड वो क्रॉस करके ऑर्गन्स के अंदर, एंड यू हैव इंट्रा ऑर्गेनल फ्लूइड. So these are the different membranes which your toxicant need to pass through अगर उसको at the end organ target organ पे जाना है. So absorption through cell membrane can be take place either through passive transport or through facilitated transport. So you may have a simple diffusion, filtration, or facilitated diffusion, active transport, endocytosis. So there are the different ways through which the toxicant can absorb through cell membrane. So passive transfer, which is the most common phenomenon. This we have already learned. So इसके लिए मैं फटाफट जा रही हूँ. So passive transport is a common, very common phenomenon. This we have seen in case of drugs also. So the factors which determine the rate of this absorption is the difference in the concentration of the substance on opposite side of the membrane. So generally your concentration will travel from, कहाँ से जाएगा वो, हाई कॉन्सेंट्रेशन जहाँ पे है वहां से इट विल ट्राई टू गो टूवर्ड्स द लो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन टू मेंटेन द बैलेंस. सो जितना डिफरेंस होगा कॉन्सेंट्रेशन में, जितना ग्रेडियंट्स होगा, उतना उसका ट्रांसफर इजी, which will not require any energy as such. Ability of the substance to move either through the small pores in a membrane or the lipophilic interior of the membrane. So these two factors determines the rate of transfer. If the concentration gradient है तो transfer easily होगा. दूसरा, if that chemical has ability to pass through the small pores of the membrane, तो भी उसका transfer or the rate of transfer would be high. दूसरा, properties of the chemical substance that affect its ability of passive transfer. Very obvious, lipid solubility. जितना ज़्यादा lipid solubility होगा उतना higher will be the rate of transfer. जितना कम molecular size उतना high will be rate of transfer. And third is the degree of ionization. Ionization होगा तो वो जल्दी पास नहीं होगा. जितना कम आयोनाइजेशन उतना इजीली इट विल बी पास, बिकॉज आयोनाइज्ड सॉल्यूशंस आर हाइड्रोफिलिक, सो दे विल टेंड टू स्टे ऑन अ लिपोफिलिक पोर्शन में जाने की कोशिश नहीं करेंगे. So this is how passive diffusion take place across cell membrane. Then you have second option is the facilitated diffusion. So as in simple diffusion, which does not require energy and follows a concentration gradient. Difference क्या है इसमें? It involves a carrier mediated transport mechanism. The results are similar to passive transport but faster and capable of moving larger molecules. जैसे अभी हम लोगों ने अभी देखा, I said कि passive transport में larger molecules का rate of transfer कम होगा as compared to smaller molecules. So अगर ऐसे larger molecules को easily transfer करना है, so they prefer a carrier mediated transport. जो passive diffusion ही है, उनके साथ एक carrier है. So larger molecules can easily diffuse through the cell membrane. Examples are the transport of sugar and amino acids into RBCs and central nervous systems. So these are the carriers जिसके through your molecule is passing through the cell membrane. यहाँ से ओपन होता है, मॉलिक्यूल को अंदर लेता है, ये पोर्शन बंद, यहाँ से ओपन, मॉलिक्यूल को सेल के अंदर छोड़ेगा. So this is how carrier mediated transport works. Then after passive transport we have active transport, which is against the concentration gradient, which is from low to high. So it is an energy requiring process. The which substance will follow active transport? जो substance which are unable to diffuse, जो diffuse नहीं हो सकते हैं, they are not able to dissolve in a lipid bilayer which is highly hydrophilic. They are too large to pass through the aqueous channels. So these substances will prefer active transport. The energy which is ATP, this process will be ATP requiring process, and it is important in transport of xenobiotics into liver, kidney and CNS. So this is how the active transport take place for absorption. So the example movement of sodium and potassium ions across against the concentration gradient with the help of ATP. See, यहाँ पे there is a less concentration of sodium, यहाँ पे it is high, but still sodium is going out and potassium is coming in. So this is called as sodium potassium pump, which is an best example of active transport, which helps the transport of sodium and potassium. So ये example है. In similar way, toxicant ions can also get transported via active transport mechanism. Then you have phenomenon of endocytosis. The cell surrounds the substance with a section of its cell wall. This engulfs substance and the section of the membrane then separates from the membrane and moves into the interior of the cell. So two main forms of endocytosis are phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Phagocytosis is called as cell eating. Large particles suspended in extracellular fluid are engulfed by the cell membrane, and either they will be transported into cells or वो cell के अंदर destroy हो जाएंगे. So this is called as phagocytosis. The cell is eating the toxicant. See, this is how endocytosis take place. ये portion of the cell membrane, उसने एक loop form किया है, toxicant को अंदर लिया, ये loop बंद हुआ, and entire portion is released in the cells. So this is how a phagocytosis take place. Pino is called as cell drinking. Involves the engulfing of liquid or very small particles that are in suspension within the extracellular fluid. So it's called as cell drinking. So ये हुआ absorption pattern while passing through the cell membrane. मतलब cell membrane cross करने की different ways. Once the cell membrane has crossed, फिर कौन से track में वो membrane है, ऊपर absorption depends. So absorption via GIT, gastrointestinal tract. So toxicants enter the body by passing through GI, mucosa, crossing several membranes before entering the bloodstream. So your absorption here, it can occur and it depends on site जहाँ पे toxicant enter हुआ है and the content in GI, which food you have consumed, depending on that the absorption will vary. The three main factors which affect the absorption at the specific site are type of cells, period of time, कितने टाइम तक सब्सटेंस वहां पे रह रहा है, pH of the stomach and intestinal contents. If it is mouth and esophagus, जहाँ पे we have a poor absorption sites for xenobiotics, क्योंकि why? Because वो ऐसी प्लेस है जहाँ पे बहुत कम टाइम तक the residence time is very short. Immediately माउथ में थोड़ी कुछ चीज अंदर रहेगी, immediately it gets enter into the tract. So वहाँ पे we have the minimum absorption. Stomach जहाँ पे highest acidity is there, a significant site for absorption of weak organic acids जो non ionized है, lipid soluble form में है, weak bases, highly ionized, those are poorly absorbed, and food interfere absorption. So that depends on a site of action जहाँ पे the toxicant has entered. So अगर stomach में है, so weak acids easily absorb हो जाएगा जल्दी, weak bases नहीं होंगे, and whatever food you have consumed, it will affect the absorption procedure. तो नेक्स्ट आता है GI में intestine. So greatest absorption, especially in small intestine, because surface area of intestine is very high. It will facilitate the diffusion across the cell membrane easily, the pattern which we have seen just now. फिर एक pH मैटर करता है absorption के लिए. Intestine का pH which is almost near neutral. So weak bases and weak acids जो non-ionized form में है, so are readily absorbed with the via the process of passive diffusion. जो lipid soluble and small molecules they enter in the body from intestine by passive diffusion. फिर जितना movement will be slow, it increase the absorption pattern. Intestinal microflora and enzymes of GI tract, they also affect the toxicity of these chemicals. Sometimes the biotransformed products may be absorbed and be more toxic than the ingested substance. Means what? जो toxicant enter किया है वो शायद इतना toxic नहीं था, but since GI tract में जाके it has metabolized and the metabolized product absorption बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ and it is more toxic. So this is sometimes happens in intestine because of the intestinal flora. So this is an example. फिर आता है GI का next part is colon and rectum. Little absorption take place. Remains of the stomach and small intestine जो वहाँ पे नहीं हुआ वो चीज जाती है colon और rectum में. The some exceptions, medicine administered as rectal suppositories with significant absorption. So these are the some of the exception in case of medicinal part. फिर next GI tract के बाद next आता है absorption via respiratory tract. So absorption can occur at any place within the upper respiratory tract. Three basic regions of absorption. You have nasopharyngeal region, then bronchial region and pulmonary region. The amount absorbed depends on physical form and solubility of toxicants. So this is our respiratory tract. So toxicity of inhaled material depends on अगर वो absorb हुआ है तो, and दूसरा if it is stored, it is remaining within the alveoli and small bronchioles, तो उसके ऊपर depend करता है उसका toxicity. Non-absorbed foreign material can cause severe toxic reactions within the respiratory systems. So कौन से मतलब जो absorb नहीं हुआ है means they are staying in the respiratory system. अगर वो वहाँ पे ही stay करेंगे, absorb होके अंदर नहीं जाएंगे circulation में, so the toxicity can be found and that would be a severe toxicity. Then you have absorption via dermal route. So your toxicant has to pass through the layers of the skin, epidermis, dermis and subcutaneous tissue. This is about epidermis, which is a regulating penetration of a skin contaminant. We will not go into details of it कि how epidermis से absorption होता है. You just need to know the different ways through which the toxicant can absorb in a body. Then skin के बाद you have other route of exposure like injection. So parenteral route, intradermal injections, then intraperitoneal injections, intrapleural injection, implantation and skin penetration. There are different ways through which the toxicant can enter in the body. Conjunctival injections and suppository. So after this is about absorption. Is it clear? You need to ask anything? Hello.
मैम
I hope अभी अगर तुम लोग को तभी कुछ नहीं समझा ड्यूरिंग फार्माकोकाइनेटिक्स तो वो भी कुछ चीजें क्लियर हुई हाउ डिफरेंट ऑर्गन्स में अब्जॉर्प्शन टेक प्लेस. So B in case of medicine or in case of toxicant doesn't matter. The absorption phenomenon and absorption pattern is similar. So ये वाला जो part है, but this part you can study for both the topics, either for pharmacokinetics or for toxicology also. And this thing you have already studied in modern medicine in the first year, absorption distribution. So that is why I have not gone to details of everything, because right now in pharmacokinetics your focus is to solve the problems and to study the models, and in toxicology you need to study the toxicity studies. So I hope the absorption phenomenon is very clear to you all.
yes मैम.
ठीक है. So tomorrow we will study the distribution and elimination.
मैम जर्नल का क्या करना है, मतलब नेक्स्ट लिखना है क्या हमको?
हाँ तो उसका मैं कर लिया ना, मुझे थोड़ा
दिया क्या
LC,
उसने?
हाँ मैंने दिया, कल उसको दिया है मैम ने. उसमें LC50 और LD50 आना है. सो आई एम जस्ट वेटिंग. एक बार LC50 LD50 हो जाएगा ना,
हाँ
फिर वो जर्नल लिखेंगे तो वो इजीली समझेगा. सो शायद कल हो जाएगा वो, तो उसके बाद मैं कल बोलती हूँ कैसे लिखूँ.
ओके मैम. ओके मैम. और मैम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कैसे करेंगे, लाइक पेपर कौन से जर्नल में कौन सा पेपर?
जो मैम ने स्टार्ट किया है ना वो पूरा एक ही जर्नल है. पेपर 1 माइक्रो है ना, उसमें
हाँ.
बहुत प्रैक्टिकल्स है. जो सेकंड जर्नल है वो 2 और 4 कंबाइन होगी.
ओके.
और एक
तो
जो
3
तुम्हारा
के लिए अलग?
रिपोर्ट है ना, 3 में शायद रिपोर्ट
अच्छा.
है ना, क्या है प्रैक्टिकल्स में? एक में रिपोर्ट, एक से प्रैक्टिकल शायद नहीं नहीं, ये तुम्हारा चेंज हुआ है ना अभी. अच्छा नहीं नहीं, तो 1 की एक जर्नल, 2, 3, 4 शायद एक में आ जाएगा, शायद नहीं भी आएगा. 3 को अलग करनी पड़ेगी, 2 और 4 एक में जाएगा. 3 को अलग करना पड़ेगा, 2 और 4 एक जर्नल में जाएगा, मतलब 1, 3, 2, 4 ऐसा होगा.
ओके मैम. तो एक और जर्नल लाना पड़ेगा.
तुमने अभी 2 लिया है क्या?
2 लिया है. हाँ मैम 2 लिया है.
हाँ तो फिलहाल तुरंत मत लाओ, क्योंकि एक पेपर में पूरे एमएस के है, ताकि जो हम लोग बाहर करते हैं ना एमएस के प्रैक्टिकल्स, तो वो भी रुको, वो हम लोग देखेंगे बाद में कैसे कॉलेज चालू होता है एंड हाउ वी गेट परमिशन टू द इंडस्ट्री फॉर परफॉर्मिंग दोस प्रैक्टिकल्स. सो फिलहाल मत लो. तो अभी दूसरी जर्नल है ना, वहाँ पे 4 लिखना स्टार्ट करेंगे, जहाँ पे LC50 LD50 है ना, वो वाला स्टार्ट करते, देखते उसमें कितने पेजेस तुम्हारे फिल होते हैं, फिर वी विल डिसाइड.
ओके मैम।
ठीक है, एकदम ऐसे फ्रीली थोड़ा लिखना कंजूसी से, इट्स ओके। अगर हो जाएगा तो हो जाएगा एक जर्नल में, अदरवाइज जर्नल्स नहीं खरीदेंगे। एमएस का जैसे हमने लास्ट टाइम एचपीएलसी कैसे प्रिंट्स निकाले थे एचपीएलसी के, वैसा करेंगे एमएस का, वैसा कर देंगे मास स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोपी, उसमें स्पेक्ट्रा और वो प्रिंट आउट ले लेंगे, वैसा कुछ करेंगे। ठीक है, सो फिलहाल डोंट बाय जर्नल, अभी 2 है तो 2 में हम लोग कंबाइन करेंगे। नेक्स्ट तो तुमको वही लिखना है LD50 LC50 नई जर्नल में। ओके
ओके चलो।
ठीक।